Okay, so when you think of a coral, what pops into your head? You're probably picturing that stony, colorful structure, right? Maybe a few fish swimming around. And hey, you're not wrong, but that's just scratching the surface. What a coral really is? Well, it's way more complex, and honestly, so much cooler than you think.
So let's just get right to it with a big question. Is a coral just one animal? I mean, it seems like it, right? But the answer, and maybe you've already guessed, is a huge no. To really get what a coral is, we have to zoom in, like way, way in, down to the microscopic level.
And down there, you find this incredible thing called the coral holobiont. Now this term, it's the key to everything we're going to talk about. It's not just the coral animal itself. It's the coral plus this whole community of microscopic partners. We're talking algae, bacteria, even viruses, all working together as one single functioning superorganism. It's literally an entire ecosystem packed into one animal. How cool is that? All right, so who exactly is on this microscopic support crew? Let's break it down and meet the main players, because the jobs they do, well, they're absolutely essential to keeping the whole thing alive.
The easiest way to think about it is like this. On one hand, you've got the power plant. These are these tiny algae called, get ready for it, Symbiodiniaceae. Yeah, it's a mouthful, I know. But these little guys live right inside the coral's tissue, and they're absolute powerhouses. Through photosynthesis, they provide up to 90% of the coral's food. They're the engine. But then you have the support crew. This is a massive, diverse community of bacteria living, well, everywhere. In the mucus, in the tissue, even inside the skeleton. And you better believe their jobs are just as important.
So what's on their daily to-do list? Oh, just a few things, like recycling all the essential nutrients the coral needs to survive. They're also little vitamin factories, producing vital B vitamins. They're basically the immune system's bodyguards, creating natural antimicrobials to fight off any nasty pathogens. And this is a huge one. They actually help the coral deal with the stress from things like heat waves. I mean, without this support crew, the whole system just collapses.
Okay, so this all leads to a really big question for scientists. We know this microbiome is absolutely vital, but what decides which microbes get to live there? What's the selection process? Is it something baked into the coral's own biology, or is it about the environment it lives in?
And you can think of this as the classic nature versus nurture debate, but for corals, right? On the nature side, you've got the coral's own genetics, its fundamental biological code. And on the nurture side, you have its environment, everything from the water temperature to the local chemistry. So which one is the bigger deal? Which force has more power when it comes to building this all-important microbiome?
This image here really lays it all out. You've got the host genetics on one side. That's its biology, its history, and then you have the environment on the other. Local conditions, global trends, you name it. And these two forces are in this constant tug of war, both pulling and pushing to shape that microbial community right in the middle.
So who wins this tug of war? Well, scientists have done a ton of research on this, looking at coral DNA and their microbiomes from all over the place, and a pretty clear winner has emerged. While a coral's genetics definitely play a part, the big takeaway from the research is that, and I'm quoting here, environmental conditions exert a stronger influence on microbiome composition compared to coral host genetics. So there you have it. Nurture, the environment, seems to be the one calling most of the shots.
And look, this isn't just a cool science fact. Understanding this is a massive deal. It basically opens up a whole new playbook for coral conservation. Think about it. If the environment is the main driver, and we know these microbes can help corals handle stress, could we actually use that knowledge to actively help save reefs?
This brings us to a really important idea called microbiome flexibility. It's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a coral's ability to change its microbial team, to swap out partners when the environment changes, like during a heat wave. And what's fascinating is that some coral species are just better at this than others. They're more flexible. And that ability to tweak their internal support crew, that could be their secret weapon for surviving in our warming world.
So how do we turn this into an actual action plan? Well, it kind of breaks down into 3 steps. First, you've got to identify the all-star teams of microbes, the ones that are best at helping corals stay resilient during a heat wave. Step 2, we could potentially develop targeted microbial therapies, basically probiotics for corals. We could give them a dose of the good stuff to boost their health. And step 3, all of this knowledge can make our coral restoration projects so much more successful, helping us choose and prepare corals that have the best shot at making it.
And that's really the ultimate goal here. It's about being proactive. We're moving beyond just trying to protect reefs from harm and starting to think about how we can actively make them stronger, literally from the inside out. If we can learn to harness the power of these tiny microbial allies, we might just be able to help corals keep up with our changing planet.
So the next time you see a picture of a coral reef, I want you to remember that bustling, invisible world that's teeming with life right inside it. And I'll leave you with this thought. As we face this massive crisis for our oceans, could it be that the key to saving these incredible ecosystems isn't some huge, grand solution, but is instead hidden within their tiniest, oldest allies?